The new God of War dilogy is loosely connected to its predecessor games, narrating the tale of Kratos and Atreus in the setting of Scandinavia. Kratos has not only relocated but has also mellowed, becoming more gentle and mature. Now he no longer seeks to ruthlessly slay gods, but desires a simple family life. However, this is disrupted when the Norse pantheon is awakened. Santa Monica has already introduced us to recognizable gods like Odin, Thor, and Heimdall. Fans are left intrigued. What's next? So let's boost our imagination and contemplate the potential setting for the upcoming God of War game. The religious cult of ancient Egypt can rival the popularity of Norse and even Greek mythology. This is unsurprising considering the bunch of memorable characters and large-scale storylines it encompasses. They practically beckon to be brought to life on screens, a feat that has occurred repeatedly. Despite the numerous works inspired by Egyptian myths, this setting is far from exhausted. Knowing how Santa Monica seamlessly captured the essence of the frigid Scandinavian world, perhaps it's time to shift our focus to warmer regions. Despite the plethora of creations rooted in Egyptian mythology, there remains an untapped depth to this subject. The trial of Osiris stands out as a significant storyline involving almost the entire Egyptian pantheon, yet it has seldom been explored on screens. This ritual encompasses a mystical process after death, where the departed find themselves before Osiris and the other 42 gods awaiting their turn for interrogation. Each deity poses inquiries about the sins of the deceased, and each response holds power in the movement of the scales. On one side lies the heart of the departed, while on the other rests the feather of Ma'at, the symbol of the goddess of truth. Every transgression committed by the judged impacts the balance of the scales. The more sins, the heavier the weight. If the burden of sins becomes too great, the heart is eaten by Amut, a horrible creature with the body of a hippo, lion's paws, and a crocodile's head. In such a case, the unfortunate soul is deprived of the opportunity for a full afterlife, condemned to endless suffering. Similar to this story in the narratives of God of War, Kratos dies and enters the realm of Hades, yet he is never subjected to judgment for his countless sins committed in the original games. Despite his partial redemption in the last two games, a trial over Kratos would still be a tense and gripping moment. His sin-laden past collides with the prospect of a fair trial, adding dramatic depth and intrigue to his enigmatic fate. Game plots not only require visually stunning scenes, but also deep and understandable conflicts. Here, the mythology of ancient Egypt is a gift to any writer. One of the most epic conflicts is the showdown between Seth and Horus. Seth is depicted as a giant with the head of an unknown creature resembling a tube-toothed animal, symbolizing war and chaos. On the other hand, Horus is a man with the head of an eagle, associated with the sky and sun. The juxtaposition of these two gods creates a dynamic contrast in the mythology. They battled hundreds of times, yet the final showdown led to Horus's victory, albeit leaving him without an eye. This epic struggle not only showcases fantastic opportunities for visual representation in God of War, but also reflects themes of bloody revenge. It would be interesting to see how Kratos would behave if he were to intervene in the conflict of the Egyptian gods. Would he align himself with Horus, defending him against Set? However, considering his character, neutrality remains the most likely option. He might choose not to get involved in divine disputes, maintaining his own objectives. Nonetheless, the new, recognizable pantheon provides fertile ground for Santa Monica's writers. Egyptian gods, like representatives of other mythologies in God of War, can be depicted in all their multifaceted aspects. There is no clear distinction between good and evil, opening the doors for a deep analysis of their characters. Beyond Set and Horus, there are plenty of recognizable figures such as the goddess of death Nephthys, the goddess of magic Isis, the death priest Anubis, and the god of wisdom Thoth. Not to mention Shezmu, a demonic blood deity resembling a man with a lion's head. Shezmu was known for a vengeful and malicious nature. When angered, he would dismember other gods and let their blood flow like wine. Shezmu would be a highly unpredictable character for the God of War franchise, and there are many such guys in Egyptian mythology. Japanese mythology, while not as widely known as Egyptian, is indeed rich in fascinating details. Its elements often appear in mangas and animes. I would love to see Japanese pantheon in God of War because even local creatures don't neatly fit into categories of good and evil. Even yokai, mystical beings of lower rank, are not inherently negative. They are simply childlike spirits thirsty for blood to survive. Yokai don't attack or kill without reason. They punish humans for their pride or for showing disrespect to nature. The gray morality of Japanese mythology is particularly particularly well illustrated by the fable of the red and blue Onis. Onis appear as massive, malevolent, ogre-like beings. Externally, they may resemble the Cyclopes that unequivocally behaved malevolently in previous parts of God of War. However, in Japanese myth, such creatures are not necessarily bloodthirsty. Integrating these elements into God of War could provide a nuanced exploration of morality and challenge Kratos with entities that don't conform to the clear-cut distinctions he's encountered before. The cultural richness and moral complexity of Japanese mythology could add a new layer to the God of War universe. Introducing sacred Japanese locations such as wood temples and bamboo groves could create a magnificent atmosphere in the game, brimming with cultural richness and mystery. This would also open up new opportunities for visual exploration and the creation of unique locations. Despite the foreignness of this world, Kratos finds himself drawn into an ancient conflict, with no choice but to restore the balance of nature. The game could feature diverse characters from the Japanese pantheon, including the sun goddess Amaterasu, the wind god Susanoo, and the thunder god Reiji. Each of them would come with their own motivations and mysteries. Kratos would also have to confront powerful demons like Odokuro. This gigantic monster, resembling a skeleton, is composed of the bones of people who died from hunger and war. As a result, Odokuro is always in a foul mood. The demon, born from unburied remains, primarily preys on homeless people. It captures them, devours their skin and insides, drinks their blood, and attaches their bones to itself to grow even larger and stronger. Imagine how these chilling elements would look in the new God of War. The next setting ideally suited for the next God of War is Aztec mythology. Aztec beliefs influenced their culture, rituals, and daily life. Their religion was accompanied by extensive ceremonies and rituals. One of the most well-known and eerie aspects of Aztec mythology was human sacrifices and cannibalism performed to appease the gods and ensure prosperity. The tribes revered numerous gods, but two held a special position: the god of the sky, Tezcatlipoca, and the sun god, Huitzilopochtli. While the present-day habitats of the Aztecs may appear arid, in ancient times they were lush jungles with lakes and an abundance of trees. However, the majority of Aztecs lived on the outskirts of cities in single-story structures made of reeds and clay. Here, constant humidity prevailed, and the ground beneath their feet was loose. I believe that for the setting of the next God of War, this is a highly fitting option. Moreover, Egyptian and Japanese themes are not uncommon in games, but Aztecs, with their terrifying rituals involving heart extraction and a storyline centered around a giant feathered serpent, would undoubtedly add a unique flavor to the game. Aztec mythology indeed provides a captivating and potentially distinctive setting for the next God of War. Aztec beliefs, rituals, and cultural features could add depth and intrigue to the game's storyline. This setting not only brings uniqueness to the game, but also introduces new elements to Kratos' story, immersing him in a world with a completely different culture and mythology. Subscribe.